Russian forces, meanwhile, escalating their attacks on major cities across Ukraine today. But the large military convoy miles outside the capital of Kiev remains stalled. This comes as sanctions pressure and calls for war crimes investigation against Moscow continue to grow. Deborah Alfarone tonight with the story.
This is the aftermath of heavy shelling Wednesday on Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv. And this is about 20 miles outside of the capital, Kyiv.
These aren't military targets. They are places where civilians work and families live.
Ukrainian officials estimate more than 2,000 civilians have been killed since Russia invaded, though the Pentagon says Russian forces have been surprised by the stiff resistance of the Ukrainians. Like this blockade formed by residents of one southeastern city to prevent Russia's troops from taking its nuclear power plant.
The Ukrainians are fighting for their country, and they're making a difference.
From the House floor to the United Nations General Assembly, resolutions were approved condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Putin is now isolated from the world more than ever and will continue to aid the Ukrainian people as they defend their country and help ease their suffering in the process.
A U.S. official tells CBS News 200 Stinger missiles have been delivered to Ukraine, with more on the way. The U.S. also imposed more sanctions Wednesday on Moscow and Belarus for what the president calls Putin's war of choice. The International Criminal Court says it has opened investigations into Russia's invasion of Ukraine after receiving referrals from more than 30 countries.
What Putin is doing is a war crime.
Senator Lindsey Graham also announced plans to introduce a resolution in support of a war crimes investigation. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
And tonight, the U.S. has postponed this week's scheduled test launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile. The move comes days after Russia announced it was putting its nuclear forces on high alert.